Hey all, welcome to the day three of our startup bootcamp. Hope you're having a wonderful Sunday evening. So we'll end this week productive by learning about a new topic today called business model canvas. So before moving on to the business model canvas, I'll drop a link in the chat box. So open the link and you can download the business model canvas. So yeah, here's the link. When you click on that link, you'll be taken to another website. Yeah, this website will be taken to this website. So there will be a form in the website. Just fill out this form. There will be a download link. So when I talk about the business model canvas, when you look at this, you'll feel relatable. So once you've downloaded the BMC, just give me a link on chat box so we can proceed further. And just give me a thumbs up if you have downloaded the canvas. We'll proceed with the presentation. Hey guys, can you see my screen right now? Just give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Yeah, okay. So we'll move on to the presentation and yeah, your company actually isn't a marketing toy. It does not need to be new, innovative, or made up. So, in fact, you already have your company story. It's your business model. So, the business model canvas is one framework that's for sharing a story or a business model to potential investors. So, this strategic management framework was first developed by Alexander Osterwald in the mid 20s. So, while the original canvas is applicable to any business regardless of size, history, or budget, additional canvas have also been popular in various niches. So this business model canvas or BMC is a strategic management tool to be quickly and easily define and communicate a business idea or concept to the potential investor or to your team or to yourself. So it is a one-page document, as you see in your presentation there, which works to the fundamental element of a business, product, service, or structuring an idea in a coherent way. So the simplicity of the business model canvas is what that makes it so successful. So the canvas is plain, looking much like a billboard or a whiteboard. So it actually comprises of 9 elements, as you can see. So that expresses the important character traits of your business story, ranging from who you know to how you make money to what you have. So all under a single one page in a lean format. So that canvas attracts more as an advertisement to the potential business investors and to other founders. So the right side, the business model canvas, the right side you can see, which is more focused on the customer part. And on the left side on the canvas, you can see, which is more focused on the business part. And on the right and the left side come together with a value proposition as center to signify the exchange of value between a business and the customers. So as you can see, here's the right side and here's the left side. So on the right side of the canvas, you can see topics on the boxes, which is more focused on the consumer side. And on the left side of the canvas, you can see boxes concentrating on the business side. And when the left and right come together, you can see the value proposition in the middle. So that signifies the exchange of value between you and your customers. So I'll tell you first about what is key partners, and we'll move on to explaining all the 9 elements of the canvas. So first we'll go with key partners. So what is key partners? So for both startup organization as well as existing organization, it may be important to create alliances with partners. So for instance, when fighting the competition or combining knowledge and skillfulness, and essential information will be acquired by knowing in advance of which partners may constitute a valuable relationship to your company. So these people are people in your network who can help you strategically. People reading your business model canvas are like to see that you are not a lone wolf starting from scratch. So they want to see you are having support. They want to see you having support. They want to see that they are not the only ones who are signing up to your business succeed. So the partner network is a place to brag about who you know. These can be team members, suppliers, marketing avenues, etc. So anyone who is on board to contribute to success can be in the key partners box. So you have to answer the two questions in this box. That is, who are the key partners or who are the key suppliers? And the second question is, what are the motivators for the partnerships? So what motivates the partnership between you and the third party? So that is all about the first box, that is key partnership. That is, you have to answer the two questions. That is, who is your key partners or who is your key suppliers? And the second question is, what motivates the partnership between you and the partner? So you have to answer these two questions. And on the second place, we have key activities. So in key activities, a good understanding of value proposition can be obtained by having a proper knowledge of core activities of a company. So this is not just about the production. It is actually a problem solving approach. Networking and the quality of the product and service are important as well. So when the organization know that the added value of a customer is a better relationship may develop with the existing customers. So what does a business do? So are you managing large software teams? Do you manage a large supply chain? So these are essential activities to your business. So if your business is a salon, for example, your key activities might be hiring and training staff, cutting and styling hair, opening and closing shop, sending emails and offers, and making thank you cards to improve customer retentions. So that is all about the uh, key activities part. So in this key activities part, you have to answer two questions. So the first question is, what key activities that your value proposition require? So that's the first question. And then second, we have, what activities are more important than most in distribution channel, customer relationship, and revenue stream? So you have to answer two questions. That is, what key activities that your value proposition requires? So what is the key activities that a business is doing? And that is all about the key activities part. And then we'll move on to the next part, that is key resources. So in the key resources, resources are meant that a company needs to perform. They can be categorized as physical or intangible, human resource or financial, or it can be anything. So physical resource may include assets such as business equipment, intellectual resources like skills, knowledge, brands, patents. So the financial resource are related to fund flow and sources of income, and human resource comprise like the staffing aspect. So these are the things that you need to perform in the key activities box. And in order to create value, the key resource of a salon are staff, the physical location, the marketing, the customers. So what resources do you have that are unique to you and which give your advantage? That is, in this key resources, you have to put what resources are unique to you and what resources that give you an advantage or an edge to your competitors. So it might be an excellent 3-year contract on a primary downtown property because its owner has hard to sell it quickly. It could be that you are discounted hair products for manufacture because you worked there for 15 years, or it can be anything. So in this third part, that is key resources, you have to answer two questions. The first question is, what core value do you deliver to your customers? And the second question is, which customer needs are you satisfying? So make sure you answer these two important questions. That is, what core value do you deliver to the customers, and what which customer needs are you satisfying? So make sure you answer these two questions. And moving on to the next part, that is the middle of the business canvas. So the first three parts, that is key partners, key activities, and key resources, are the business side. And on the middle we have value proposition. So that is the value transfer between you and the customers. So in this value proposition part, the value proposition is about the core of a company's right to exist. It meets the customer's need. So, how does an organization distinguish itself from the competition? On the one hand, the distinct focus on quantities such as price, service, speed, and delivery conditions. And on the other hand, it focuses on quality, including design, brand status, and customer experience and satisfaction. So your value proposition is the most important component of any business. So why are you valuable? If the business provides no value, then why? Why should anyone buy your product? Why should anyone support you? Why does anyone need you? This value needs to be directed at who your business serves in the marketplace. So the value proposition is not only why you are valuable to the readers or the investors. So the value needs to be directed at who your business targets, that's the target customers. So Google help people find the things which they wish to know. Apple makes elegant, simple products designed to work out of the box. So and Yasarun cuts and style people sell. So that is the value proposition or the USP or the unique thing which you provide your customers. So in this value proposition a box, you have to answer two main questions. That is, the first question is what relationship that the target customer expects you to establish. That is what a relationship. And the second question we have how to integrate integrate that into your business in terms of cost or format. So how to integrate the USP into your business? I have answered these two questions. And on the right side of the business model, that is, we have three things, that is customer relationships, channel, and customer segments. So these two boxes, three boxes focus on the customer side. And moving on to the customer relationship box. So yeah, so this box, it is a customer relationship is essential to interact with your customers. So the broader your customer base, the more important is to divide your customers into different target groups. So each customer has a specific need. So by forcing the customer needs, the organization should invest in different customers. A good service will ensure a good and stable customer relationship that will succeed in the future. So you must keep in mind that customer retention is more important, feasible than customer acquisition. I repeat it again. Customer retention is more important and more efficient than customer acquisition. So try to retain more customers. And what kind of relationship do you want to have with your customer? What is the relationship nature? Whether it's transactional, whether it's personal, whether it's automated, whether it's self-service, whether it's community oriented. So a vending machine, for example, is a self-service customer relationship, and many cloud providers are self-service. So in this customer relationship box, you have to answer two questions. That is, which classes you are creating value for, and the second question is who is the most important customer for you. So what is the customer segment? Who is the most important customer segment for you? That is the two questions you have to answer. And on the the next part we have, yeah, we have channels. That's the second part. So yeah, in channels, an organization deals with communications, distribution channels, and sales channels. So it is not just about the customer contact and the way in which an organization communicates with their customers. So when talking about communication with the customers, yesterday we've talked about marketing rule called 7, the rule of 7. That is, you have to communicate your message 7 times to your customers. After they hear a message 7 times, they will make the decision. So minimum you have to communicate the message 7 times. So coming back, the purchase location and the delivery of the product or service provided by you are the decisive element in this. So channels to customers have actually 5 different stages. So that is channels to your customers have 5 stages. That is, the first one is awareness of the product, uh, purchase, delivery, evaluation and satisfaction, and after sales or customer loyalty if your product is good. So I repeat again, we have 5 stages. That is uh, awareness of the product, purchase. First they'll be aware, they'll purchase, delivery, evaluation, and satisfaction. After satisfaction, if they are satisfied, they'll be loyal. That's the extra step. So it's advisable to combine offline and online channels to reach as much as customers as possible. So in e-commerce phase, we call it the brick and mortar model. That is a company which has both online store and offline store. We call it a brick and mortar uh, store. So how do you meet your customers? How do you go to them? Do they come to you, or you could use channels like Twitch or a media platform? It could be writing contest or a hackathon. It could be a business location for a coffee shop. It could be a website for a microservice. It could be a Twitter account for any software company. The channel is a pathway of the communication that links your business to the community of the customers. So what channels are you using to communicate your message from the company to your customers? That is distribution channel. And in this distribution channel, you have to answer two main questions. The first question is, what key resources does your value proposition require? That is, what resource do you require? And the second question is, uh, uh, what resources are more are important in the most distribution channels, like the customer relationship and revenue streams. So you have to answer these two questions in the channel part. And on the customer segment, next question next is on the right side, that is the right extreme right, we have customer segment part. So on the customer segment part, an organization often provides services to more than one customer group. That is, we already learned about it yesterday, but the difference between segmentation and customer persona. So it is sensible to divide them into different customer segments. So products and service can be better geared towards the specific needs and requirements of each of the customer groups. So this can be done by identifying what those needs are and which value is attached to them. So this will lead to greater customer satisfaction if you solve the product, if you solve their problem. So in which it will contribute to a good value proposition. So as I said yesterday, marketing and startup is a game of psychology. So these are the people uh, to purchase a product. It is helpful to think about your first customer. In the end, you may not have anyone uh, to be a customer, but right now you will be the first person to buy a product. So customer segmentation can also be categorized into demographics, geographic, social size, social class, financial class, personality, behavioral, buying targets, buying patterns, etc. So is a customer segment part. And in this customer segment part, you have to answer two questions. That is, through which channels that your customer want to be reached. So do they like content marketing? Do they like email? Do they like Instagram or social media channels? You have to know. And the second question is, which channels works best? How much do they cost? And how can they be integrated into your customer routines? So you have to know everything in this customer segment part. And as I said before, this part, the value proposition part in the middle, is the value bridge. I call it the value bridge. The left side, the key partners, key activities, and key resources. That is actually the company part, the company side of your business model. And on the right side, we have the customer part of the business model. And on the bottom, we have cost structure and revenue stream. That is how that is a cash flow of your business. So how are you getting money? That is all about the bottom two boxes. So we'll first go with cost structure. What is cost structure? So in this box, you have to by gaining an insight into cost structure, an organization will know what the minimum turnover must be to make a profit. So the cost structure considers the economies of scale, constant, that is fixed and variable cost. Cost have to be adjusted when it's obvious that is more investment that must be made on the organization in generating its revenue. So often an organization will opt off deleting a number of key resources to increase the profit. So what are the company costs? Income statement do a good job by putting expenses into an operating expenses and capital expenses. So what are your operating expenses, what are the capital expenses, and that can serve as a good model for this part of your canvas. So operating expenses are the day-to-day cost of doing a business. At a salon, it can be a largely labor cost for hiring stylists for cutting hair. So capital expenditure or capital expenses would be cost associated with the uh, hair products, rent cost, electricity cost. On the other hand, it is also called as fixed and variable cost. So in this box, you have to identify two main questions. That is, first question is what are the what are the cost in your business? That is the fixed and variable cost. You have to identify what is it and what is it, and which key resources are the most expensive. So we've on the left hand side, we already talked about key resources. So which key resources cost the higher for your business, and you have to know, you have to strategize how to reduce it or take a new one. And that is all about cost structures. And on the last box in this business model canvas comes the revenue streams. So in addition to the cost structure, the revenue streams will provide a clear insight into the revenue model of an organization. So for example, how many customers does an organization need on an annual basis to generate profit? That is, you have to know how many customers that you require as a company on an annual basis to generate a profit. So how much revenue that is need to break even. The revenue streams are the cost drivers. So aside from the goods sales of good, subscription fees, lease income, or the rent licensing, sponsoring, advertising, promoting may also be an option. So finally, this box tells you, like, you have to write down how does a company make money. So that is all about the revenue streams, all about how a company makes money. And in this revenue streams, you have to answer three questions. That is, for what value that your customers are willing to pay money. So on the middle, we have value proposition, right? So in what value that your customers are willing to pay. So for which problem they are willing to pay for you to solve their problem. And the second question is, what and how do they recently pay? So how they prefer to pay, whether it's the monthly payment, whether it's annual payment, whether it's a lifetime payment. You have to know whether how they pay. And third one is, how does um, every revenue stream contribute to the overall revenues. So revenue streams include a different products. If you have a product line of product A, B, and C, so how does the individual product contribute to the overall revenue? That is all about the revenue streams. So now we've talked about the entire 9 parts of the business model canvas. So first one is key partners, key activities, key resources. On the middle, we have value proposition, customer relationship, channels, segmentation, cost structure, and revenues. So this is the overview of the business model canvas. And over the past 2 days, we've learned on the day one, we've learned about what is a startup and how to find a startup idea. So after finding an idea, yesterday we've talked about how to validate that idea and how to do market research, and we've learned about uh, customer persona, competitive analysis, SWOT analysis. So after finishing these process, if your business model is validated, you can move on to the business model canvas. So to sum up with, I'll just give a summary on this. I'll give a short insight again. Just wait a second. Yeah. So I'll give a short overview again. So first one is key partner. I'll just tell what questions you have to answer in each of the boxes. So the first part is key partners. So in this box, you have to answer two questions. That is, who are your key partners? Who are the key suppliers? And what are the motivators for the partnership? For example, if your company and a company Y is joining for a partnership, so what is the motivation behind the partnership? You have to know that. You have to define in the key partner step and box. And next, we have key activities. So in this key activities, you have to answer what key activities that your value proposition require, and what activities are more important in the distribution channel, customer relationship, and revenue stream. You have to answer these two questions. And moving on to the next, we have key resources. So in key resources, you have to answer what core value do you deliver to your customer. So what is the core value of your business? So what customer needs are satisfying? What is the customer problem? What is the customer pain point you're trying to solve? That is you have to do in the key resources. Moving on to the next, we have value proposition. So that's the most important and interesting part of any business. You have to answer what relationship that the target customer expects you to establish, and how can you integrate that in your business in terms of cost and variables. On the fifth, we have customer relationship on the right side of the canvas. So you have to answer which classes are you creating value for. Classes in sense of which customer segments are you providing value for, and who is your most important customers. uh, if a customer X is buying your lifetime offer, a customer Y is buying your monthly offer, obviously customer Y is going to be your important customer. So in channel 6, six, we have channels. So in these channels, what are the key resources that your value proposition require? What resources are important in the distribution channel? We have to mention in it. And on the seventh, we have, yeah, in this channel, wait a second, yeah, in this channel we have, it is a bridge between you and your customers. How are you reaching your customers? Whether you are reaching through an email marketing campaign, whether you're reaching with a SEO campaign, or whether you're reaching with a Facebook marketing campaign, you have to specify how you're going to reach and how you're going to attack your competition and customers. So the seventh one, we have customer segments. So through which channels the customer want to be reached, and what channels work the best, whether the email marketing channels works better than SEO, or you have to know which is cost efficient and have more reach and views. And on the uh, right side, we have cost structure. That is, what is a fixed and what is a variable cost. You have to know, and what key resources are the most expensive. You have to know. And on the right side, on the ninth one, that is last one, you have the revenue streams. That is, for what problem you're solving, the customers are willing to pay. You have to know, and how much does the revenue stream of your company. That is, if your company is having product X, Y, and Z, and how the revenue of the each of the product contribute to your overall revenue, and how do they pay. Whether you are willing to pay in a monthly way, or they're going to pay on a early basis or lifetime basis. You have to know. That is all about the business model canvas
But
here.
we check on
And
weekly basis now.
any questions, I'll be taking in a few minutes. I'll finish it and come. So yeah, that is all about the business model canvas. So finishing off with this session, I have a small task for you to do. So just download this business model canvas and pick a company. So pick a company of your wish, like Uber or Zomato. Then study about the company and fill out the business model from your point of view. So this will help you to gain experience by filling out this. When you do in for your own company, you'll have some experience filling out these. So that is a task for you. uh, I think you must have downloaded the business model canvas. So that's the end of the session. If you have any questions, you can just use the chat box. We'll have the questions right now.